Oh man, do we have a lot to talk about.
Calling Caitlin's Corner.
Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm Caitlin, and today we're doing a kind of different type of video. I haven't done like a sit down chit chat video in quite a long time. Boys Planet is coming to an end. Actually, I think by the time you guys watch this it would have ended, but as of now we have, I think, one or two more episodes left, and I just wanted to talk about it. I think her name's Wendy Min, maybe, share her thoughts on Boys Planet 2, and I was like, I can do that because I have a lot of thoughts. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're just going to sit here, chit chat and discuss Boys Planet 2. So if you guys don't know what Boys Planet 2 is, it's like a rebrand of Produce 101, if you know what that was. A survival show where lots of boys, I think there was like 160 this time, compete against each other to make it into a debut group. And this time it was meant to be like a little different because we had Planet K and Planet C, which is like K for the Korean contestants and then C for like the Chinese and other contestants. But I feel like there was so much backlash between how both like shows were getting promoted that eventually they like combined them into one, and I don't know if that was the smartest decision, but we'll discuss that later in this video. It's a survival show, boys competing to make it into a debut group. If you saw Boys Planet 1, you know exactly what I'm talking about, but Boys Planet 2 has been a bit of a mess this year, so let's just discuss everything that happened from start to finish, starting with the auditions. So for the auditions period, they were still split into two different shows. So there was Planet C and Planet K, and both had like their own separate auditions, which I feel like was actually a good thing because it gave them like both time to, well, I say it was a good thing because it should have given them enough time to show everyone equally, so like you could get a feeling of like who you might want your one pick to be. But the editing this year just, I don't really, they edited a bunch of like auditions out. They did separate it by company, which I enjoyed, so you could like look if you had a specific company you liked, you could like find the trainees from that company. But it was very hard to see the auditions because they went through them so fast, and if they got like an all-star, they were like immediately cut. So even though they had like realistically more screen time for each show, it didn't feel like that because it didn't feel like we got to know anybody. I feel like, unlike Boys Planet 1, so I never watched Produce 101, so I don't really know how that worked, but in Boys Planet 1 there were so many like memorable auditions, like Jay and I forget who I auditioned with, but their audition, and also like the My House duo, there were very like memorable auditions to come out of that, but I feel like there were none this year, and I feel like that's because of how much time each person got. If you guys want to know why they were apart, like they were separated, this is a rumour, not confirmed, please don't sue me, but apparently it was because they didn't want like a Zhang Hao situation to happen again, because obviously Zhang Hao was a part of the global group last year, and he won first place, and I don't think mnet expected that to happen, and obviously they wanted a Korean person to win a Korean survival show. I think they split both the shows this time to avoid that situation happening again, apparently, rumours. I feel like maybe they should have kept it separate, even though that's like not a good reason why you do it. There is other reasons I feel like they should have kept it separate. And even though it was way too early to have one picks, when I watched Boys Planet 1, I did have like an idea of who I liked based on their auditions and the like pre-release introduction things, which again this year I don't feel like they aired them all, which was really strange to me. Like last year we had Ricky's iconic Young and Rich, Tall and Handsome.
Young and rich, tall and handsome. I'm Charisma Boss, Baby Ricky.
And that made him like very memorable. When the actual show came out, you're like looking for him. But this year I feel like we had none of that. Like I don't really remember any of them. Maybe that's because people weren't like reposting them or anything, but I didn't like no one stuck out to me apart from the people who had been on Boys Planet 1. Like I think his name's Sangwon. He came back for Boys Planet 2. Obviously I immediately recognised him, but there wasn't like anybody memorable because they got like no screen time. both on the show and like the extra clips. The whole audition process was very strange. Actually, they weren't my one picks because they weren't like confirmed one picks yet, but my potential one picks all came from like TikTok edits I'd seen. There just wasn't enough like character building in the first couple of episodes, and obviously I know there's like a bunch of trainees. There was like double the amount from last year because there was 2 different planets, but I feel like we got nothing from them. So also during the auditions they were ranked, I think it was all star to technically no star, but no star got cut immediately, so all star to 1 star, and whatever ranking they got gave them their place for the signal song. So last year's signal song I actually really enjoyed. This year's signal song is Hola Solar, I think that's how you pronounce it. And this year it was actually very different because we had a rap unit and a dance break in this, which I don't think we had in the previous year. But again, they didn't show us like how they got to that, if that makes sense. So there was a signal song for Planet K and Planet C. They were still split at this point. We had a centre. We like kind of got a little bit about how the centre got to be the centre, but the rap unit and the dance break would never like saw how they got their places, if that makes sense. Like it was very skimmed over. Like if we got that more, we would have like connected with them more. It was just skimmed over and I didn't really understand. So the trainees' positions for the signal song was completely decided by the judges, which is the same in season 1, I'm pretty sure. Again, I don't know how I feel about that, but it was so skimmed over that it didn't really matter anyway, because I had to look, when I was looking at like, if I saw someone in the signal song and I was like, oh, I like that person, they're really good, it took me so long to actually find who it was because they were so unmemorable from the first round of auditions. Something Wendy said in our video was that there was no edits to build characters, and I feel like that's very accurate because at this point in season 1, I'm not keep comparing it, but that's the only thing I have like really to compare. In season 1, there was like the little edits between each performance that like showed you the personality of all the trainees. In this season, I feel like there were so many trainees that there was no time for all that stuff. But I feel like that's what made season 1 more memorable. So yeah, the signal song went by really fast. It was very skimmed over. I liked the song. I didn't really understand like everything else surrounding the song. But then we went on to the first team performances. So this is the point that both of the shows actually combined, and I don't know if they'd like always planned to do this or if it was from the backlash of how bad the Chinese like show was getting promoted. Like the Korean show was so much more promoted, and then the Chinese show just like came afterwards. But at this point they combined, which I feel like put the Chinese like Planet C contestants at a severe disadvantage, because obviously they had signed up to be on a Chinese show and sing Chinese songs, like their language. Even though there was some people that like weren't Chinese in that, they like understood the Chinese language, but because they got put together for this, they were made to sing Korean songs, which I feel already put them at a disadvantage. And you didn't get to hear like all these beautiful Chinese songs that are iconic, but I digress. Yeah, they were already at a disadvantage, and then we also had, I think there was 5 songs, but so there's 5 songs, 2 teams competed per song, but then because there was so many trainees still, the teams were quite big. I think there was like 8 people per team, and I feel like that's too many people. I wish we had more songs, less trainees, because they were so big. They didn't get like a lot of screen time between any of them, and I feel like this is a great point on showing why like their little edits in between performances are so impactful, because no one, well, obviously he's popular from Boy Story. Everyone loves Zinglong. Zinglong? I don't know how to say Chinese names, I'm sorry. But he wasn't really on my radar until I saw like that edit of him like being really nice to Junseo, and later in the show he gives up his leader position because he felt like it wasn't fair. It made him so much more relatable. Like he had a character, he had a personality, so many more people connected with him, and it showed in the voting because he went up ranks so many times. And I feel like that just shows how important actually giving people's screen time was, and at this point they had way too many trainees to actually do that. We got nothing from them, and honestly they weren't very memorable performances either. Obviously every single produced team has like the Avengers team, and this year it was obviously the Whiplash team for the All-Stars. And even though they're all so talented, obviously, because they're the Avengers team, it didn't hit the way I thought it would. Obviously, aespa's song Whiplash, it's so like it's an impactful song. It has such good choreography for the killing part to like really be a killing part. We love Sangwon. He is probably the best centre they have this season. But that song was choreographed for 4 people, and at times, because there was 8 of them, obviously, there was like times where they were like standing in front of each other, and it just made it so much less impactful than it was meant to be. So I feel like most of the performances this round felt like flat. There was mistakes in pretty much every one of them. And then the only team I thought like did really, really, really well, apart from the Avengers team obviously, was the Plot Twist team. I don't remember who the centre was for that, but it was the one that Xinglong was in. And then even then, I feel like the members didn't like fit that concept very well. So the whole first team performances, I feel like just wasn't great, and they fell really flat. None of them were really that memorable to me, which I feel like a lot of people, like, they were good obviously. Most of the people there were very talented. Like, nothing stood out to me the way it did in the first season. Like, I feel like in season 1 there was so many iconic performances from the first team performance, and then this season just fell really flat. And then we went straight into eliminations after that, and honestly the first round of eliminations, I didn't really have a connection to anybody. Like, I had a few people that I liked, but the first round of eliminations, I wasn't connected to anybody, so I just kind of like went past. And they eliminated so many people that I was like, why? Like, right now, the concept battle's happening, and there's only 24 people left, which is crazy. And it was also because they had like little to no editing, like, for individual people. In season 1, I feel like if your one pick was eliminated, you know so much about them, you could like go and follow their journey after that. This season, I feel like, yeah, I knew the names of the people that were eliminated, but that was it. Like, I didn't know anything about them, so it didn't make me want to like go and watch them further, if that makes sense. So yeah, that elimination round was just kind of meh to me. I didn't feel connected to anybody, so I didn't really have an impact. However, there was some trainees that stayed after that elimination that I was highly questioning. It didn't really make sense to me. Maybe that's because I was just biased, but the elimination round that time didn't really impact me at all. Which it did the second time, we'll get to that, but yeah. Then we had the position battle, and honestly, I kind of feel the same. Like, there was some amazing performances, like a lot of them were actually pretty good performances this time, but there was none that like stood out to me like amazingly, apart from one which we'll get to in a minute. But we're going to start with the vocal positions. We had 4 vocal songs this time. The first one was Rose Blossom, I think it was called, which I'd never heard of this song. I know a lot of people love this song, but I'd never heard of it personally. But when I watched it, it felt off to me. I don't know how to describe it. In Wendy's video, she said that her roommate or her best friend or something said it looked like Subway Shuffles, and I kind of get that. I wasn't expecting it to like be like that. It's literally called Rose Blossom. Like, the concept I had in my brain was not what they did, if that makes sense. The Rose Blossom team won the vocal round this time, I'm pretty sure, which I don't really understand. I have questions about the voting system, because the only person who really stood out was, I don't remember his name, but I'll put his picture here. He was the only person who really stood out, and I feel like they made quite a few mistakes in that song. Correct me if I'm wrong. Very thrown off by that one. Then we had Run to You, which, first of all, great song choice. But again, there was mistakes in that song, and it was quite disappointing. Wasn't very memorable. Don't really have much to say about it. Then we had Queen Card. Okay, I have a love-hate relationship with Queen Card because I really, really like the song choice, and I really like the members they picked for this song. I don't like that they like rockified it. I really hate when that happens. And I feel like Leo was robbed. Leo, at this point, Leo had become one of my favourite people, mainly again through TikTok edits, but I feel like he was really robbed during this one. He came last in this, which, again, made me question the voting. I have so many questions about the voting this time, which we'll talk about at the end of the video, but he was robbed. Queen card, I didn't like that they rockified it, but overall it was an okay performance, like they were good. And then we had Breathe, which was one of my favourite performances. I think it's like my second favourite performance of like the whole show. It was so emotional, and I feel like the Breathe team should have won. I feel like they were robbed of the vocal position. It was like so emotional and raw, and also like the little edit that we got of like Cameron bawling his eyes out because he thought this was like his last chance. Oh, it broke my heart. I actually shed a tear. It was, yeah, I think everyone agrees they were robbed, and I don't really know why the Rose Blossom team won. Then we had the dance team, like the dance position teams. Honestly, these were very like lackluster for me. The XXL team I actually really liked because they're just so cute. Obviously the choreography was amazing. I'm pretty sure that during this they had to like come up with their own choreography, and they done so good. Considering they were all so young, it was like a really impactful performance. I feel like it may have been like the best performance wise of this round. Yeah, I liked it overall. La La La, Bad, and Like Jenny, all of them were just very meh for me. They were great song choices. The performances were good. But that's because they had talented trainees. Like all of the top trainees were in that one. I like all of the songs. Actually, Bad by Christopher is one of my favourite songs ever. But I feel like Junseo, I really like Junseo. He's actually one of my top picks. But I feel like he just like wasn't given face in this. Like his face colour is insane, but he wasn't like using it. And he had the killing part in this song, and I feel like Dogyun, I think that's how you say Dogyun, yeah, was just so much more impactful, and I feel like he should have had the killing part. But yeah, all three of them were just very good, not magnificent. And then we have what turned out to be my favourite performance of the entire show so far. Tambourine, the tambourine unit. I have very mixed feelings about Yumiki. I don't know how I feel about him. I think he's obviously insanely talented, but I don't know if he's given idol to me. But the choreography that he made for that was actually insane. And also we had Jihao, I don't know how to say it in like Chinese. But he was in this team, and also so was Surin. And Surin is he might be my favourite dancer on this show, but was one of my favourite dancers on the show, along with Harry Jun. And the tambourine performance, it left an impact on me. First of all, it's an iconic song, and Yumiki's like choreography was actually insane. They done an amazing job, and it's one of the performances that I've went back and rewatched like over and over again because like it makes me happy. I don't know how else to describe it. It just makes me happy. And then finally we had the rap category, which is never my favourite because I'm not like a huge into like rap songs, but the rap category was kind of just okay this season. I don't really know why someone picked a rap song. Like obviously he had like the vocal part of the rap song, but I feel like he just didn't really fit Famous. So that kind of threw me off with that one. And then the Smoke like duo. Okay, I'm gonna say this. I know people are gonna come at me for it. Is it Yechan? He annoyed me. He pissed me off. I know he was the victim of mnet's evil editing. I also think he was on Project 7. I never watched that show, but I know a lot of people like him because he was on that show. And we know mnet's evil editing always picks somebody, and unfortunately it was just him this time. But he was annoying me quite a lot, and then he messed up his lyrics, and I was like, he's not going to be here for long, so then I just kind of didn't really care about him. Which I know that sounds bad, but I'm sorry. And then my favourite of the rap category was actually Hot. I did not know what this song was when I first heard it. But I think they picked great members to do this. Well, they picked themselves, but the members who picked this song really fit well with it. You could clearly see all their personalities. And they had fun with it, and that's what I liked about it. Was it was a fun song, fun members, and they made it fun. And then we had the second elimination, which honestly just pissed me off. Like, after I watched the second elimination, first of all, they had San from AT's, like, doing the elimination. And obviously that we love San so much. But the actual eliminations just really annoyed me. I don't know why they took it down to 24 so early on. So, this is a spoiler, but them eliminating Harry, Jun and Suran was one of, like, the biggest losses for the dance line at Boys Planet 2. Yes, I'm of the thought that yes, you can be a rapper, you can be a dancer, but like you have to have some vocal talent to be an idol. Like that's you're making music which you have to sing. So I feel like there should at least be some vocal talent, and I feel like some people this season just do either good dancers, good rappers, couldn't really sing. Harry and Suran getting eliminated this round was one of the biggest losses. They were both some of my favourite dancers. Harry Jun is one of the most talented people I've ever saw in my life. This elimination just really annoyed me. And then lastly we had the concept battle. So as of the time of filming this, the concept battle is the only is what just came out. So I'll maybe insert a little clip near the end of what I think about the final lineup. But the concept battle, when I first heard all the songs, I really did think my favourite song was going to be Chains, because my favourite song last season was Over Me. It still is. I listen to Over Me pretty much on a daily basis, and Chains has a very similar vibe, so I did think that was going to be my favourite, especially when I saw the lineup for the member lineup for Chains. I was like, this one's going to hit. But surprisingly, when I watched the actual performances, I really liked Main Dish, which I feel like is huge considering they were at a big disadvantage after the elimination round. Pretty much the whole Main Dish team got eliminated, so they had less time to get the choreography, memorise everything. Yet they done so well, and it was my favourite song rhythmically. I don't know if that's the right word, but I feel like it was produced the best. And the concept they picked fits so well with it. The outfits, they slayed the outfits. And yeah, so overall, Main Dish was just my favourite. So obviously elimination rounds are going to happen again, stroke the final lineup. That has not happened of the time of filming this, but if it has happened before I post this video, I'll insert my reaction here. Yeah, so overall, I think the editing of this season just really brought it down. Obviously, the first season of Boys Planet, it was the first show from the produced series since for a while, so by default it became iconic, and I feel like the show producers just saw how much people loved the first season and just tried to replicate it identically, but because they had so many more trainees this time, we had such little screen time for everybody, and it just made everybody not memorable, so it was hard to get your picks and really connect and see people's personality for any of them. Season 1 was just better in terms of editing and actually connecting with the people, wanting to see them debut. Very quickly, I just want to mention, I can't really talk about Boys Planet 2 without talking about the no, that's not his name, Gonu? I don't know how to pronounce it, but this man, his scandal thing that happened, apparently, this is all rumours because I'm not really up to date with all this stuff. I just saw some articles about it in one YouTube video, but apparently there was some school bullying rumours happening, and he didn't, it was apology, and it was some things are true, some things are not true, but he didn't really tell us what was true and what wasn't true, but obviously some of it was true, but we don't know what part of it was true. It was just very confusing. So he is currently, at the time of filming this, in the top 8, which I don't know how I feel about that. Korea seems to really love him, so I don't know what's happening with that, but that's future problem, I guess, if it debuts. The very last thing I want to touch on is the voting system. I don't know why they do this. They did this in Boys Planet 1 too, but they have like obviously the in-person voting for like the bonuses, right? I understand that in Korea it's normally Korean people that are there, but for like the online voting, it's 50% Korean votes, 50% global votes, which I feel like maybe puts the global artists at a disadvantage already, because first of all they're at a disadvantage because they're singing all Korean songs, which that's a whole other topic that I don't really want to get into right now, but yeah, so they're already at a disadvantage for having to sing in a language that they don't speak like fluently. And then the votes being 50% from Korea, I feel like it just also puts me at a disadvantage, because obviously I know that Korea is the biggest market for K-pop, obviously, but I feel like they put too much emphasis on the Korean vote versus the global vote, when it could just be like an overall vote. Like, I don't really know how to describe what I'm talking about, but yeah, I feel like it just doesn't really make sense that such a big weight is put on Korean votes over global votes when global people also enjoy K-pop. I don't really know. Maybe it's a discussion that has been thought through in the future. That's been my thoughts on Boys Planet 2. Let me know anything like you think about Boys Planet 2 in the comments below. The good, the bad, what you think should be changed for next time, and if you think they should have kept it as Planet C and Planet K, or if you liked that they merged them back together. Let me know that in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you get notified every single time I upload, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!
Good night, baby.
I love you.